Okay, hello everyone. My name is James Cusack, and I'm going to be your presenter today for the final project for the Coastal Environments course. So, a little bit about myself. As I said, my name's James. I'm a current fourth year biotechnology major. I am an avid scuba diver. Pictured in the top three images here are me at La Jolla Shores, La Jolla Cove, and then Ocean Beach as well. So I've been doing this for about 2 years. Really enjoy it. Got my certification 2 years ago and have been, recreationally going out ever since. So I've got a real appreciation and first-hand witness of the marine protected areas that we're going to be talking today. My favorite ever dive was off the coast of La Jolla Shores, which is the Scripps Pier area and a marine protected area that we are going to be talking about today in our presentation. Also, I am currently in working in a lab of a professor on campus called Dr. Reed. I work with a marine phytoplankton, pictured in the bottom right here of this slide. It's these coccolithophores, beautiful little phytoplankton that form these calcium carbonate shells. And part of that research is going down to the beach a lot, collecting a lot of samples there and studying them. So yes, I can definitely say I'm interested in the coastal environment here and preservation and exploration. So this is a topic I'm really excited to talk about and share. Okay, without further ado, I'll get into the presentation here, starting with the San Diego Scripps SMCA Marine Protected Area. Okay, so what is this, right? Well, a marine protected area, it's an area of land federally and nationally recognized as a conservation effort, right, to promote the biodiversity of the region through protective measures that limit fishing and natural exploitation of resources. So the San Diego Scripps SMCA, it covers 1.46 square miles of protected habitat. The depth of this region goes down to 366 feet below sea level. It contains a rocky reef, a submarine canyon, and it's a majority of a sandy seafloor. And there, as I said earlier, there are very strict regulations for any extraction of marine resources in this area. On a personal note, when I did my dives here, it's really stunning how the ground slowly leaves you until you reach this massive undersea canyon, which we'll be touching on later in the presentation here. So I will probably save that for a little bit. Talking on the biodiversity, though, it is genuinely incredible. La Jolla Cove in particular, which we'll be covering later on, but even the San Diego Scripps SMCA, I was able to see Garibaldi, California halibut, the shovel-nosed guitarfish. There were a bunch of those. I was never able to see a great white, but I've been told, and it is recorded, that they are quite common in the area there. So yeah, I can attest myself from scuba diving to seeing the guitarfish, which are really cool, as well as Garibaldi and some halibut. As well as many other sea creatures and marine life down there. So definitely would recommend doing a dive if anyone's ever looking to do that. Okay, and the other marine protected area in San Diego is the Matluwahil State Marine Reserve. Sorry. So this is a 1 square mile protected habitat zone, and it contains the famous parts of La Jolla, right? So it contains the La Jolla Cove and the La Jolla Caves area. This depth similarly goes down to a very similar 330 feet below sea level depth. So again, a very quick drop off once you leave that coastal region, more like where the cove is, and by the sea caves. So this area again contains these very sandy beaches, some rocky intertidal areas, beautiful surf grass beds, which you can kind of see in the picture here on the right. There's this kind of, yeah, this is the seagrass to my recollection here. And there are the rocky reefs as well, sea caves, and then the submarine canyon. And this submarine canyon cuts really deep beneath the surface. That's why that depth drops off so quickly. There's very strict regulation against the extraction of any marine resources in this marine protected area. It also contains vibrant populations of seabirds. If you've gone to La Jolla recently, there's tons of them nesting on these rocks. You can really smell it. There's rich tide pools as well, and then the famous kelp forests, which are further out here in the La Jolla Cove area, and it shelters a great vast majority of marine organisms. Okay, on touching the biodiversity, so the La Jolla and Scripps have these huge submarine canyons. I think this image on the right really illustrates it well, and you can really see how close this canyon comes to the shore. There's this split here. I was lucky enough to dive down to this canyon here. Obviously, it's too deep for depth, but I was able to go about 100 feet below sea level and witness some of the life down there, and it is just incredible. I've got to say, it was really like an out of this world experience. So, highly would recommend anyone doing dives there. So on the notes here, the La Jolla and Scripps submarine canyons, they provide nutrient-rich cold water to the marine protected areas, right? So all that nutrient-rich cold water is flowing up through these canyons into the little reef areas, providing a lot of nutrient water and nutrient-rich substances. It hosts a very unique deep water ecosystem. So it contains moray eels, sea slugs, rockfish, jellyfish, and soft corals. These are commonly spotted kind of along the walls of this canyon. And the rocky canyon walls, as I said, are used as supports for much of the stationary life. So really impressive array of life, considering the very steep environment and the steep sides of these canyons. Okay, the next biodiverse area of importance I wanted to touch on were the kelp forests. And these are just genuinely beautiful, beautiful areas. So these are the rocky seafloor area of La Jolla, of the La Jolla Cove, allows for these giant kelp species to anchor, and they can just grow and grow and grow, incredibly fast growth rates. These giant kelp provide protection from predators, and they additionally serve as a source of nutrients for a lot of the smaller organisms. So you'll find a lot of like microbacteria there, microorganisms, as well as larger animals. And it's just incredibly biodiverse. You see these Garibaldi fish, which I was lucky to see a lot of, lobsters, which are just everywhere. The top right image here shows some of the lobsters residing, and they were just constantly residing on these pillars by the sea camera that we did work for. The bottom right image is an image of the kelp forest here, kind of with some sunlight there, and it kind of shows the biodiverse nature of all the fish here. And then the top left was one of the coolest creatures I think I've ever seen, which are these massive sheep crabs. And they reside on the bottom of the seafloor of the La Jolla Cove area. Huge in number, and they are just massive. Like, I would not want to get pinched by one of their claws. I think they seem very passive when I dive, but again, not something I'd want to get close to. And they have this really cool, like, plant life kind of growing on their backs. I believe it offers some sort of protection, right? Like camouflage. So super interesting. Those are the sheep crabs. The next biodiverse region is the tide pools. So these are shallower and they become exposed between December and March. They're home to clams, barnacles, snails, anemones, and crabs. And again, very popular tourist attraction here in those times of year. And then next is the shoreline, right? Kind of in the same area. It's famed for its population of harbor seals, which, has had some controversy in recent months and years with tourist encroachment. And there's also hosts that diverse seabirds, like shorebird populations of sandpipers, gulls, egrets, whimbrels, and brown pelicans. So again, extremely biodiverse region, which kind of stresses the importance of marine protected areas. Okay, on the socioeconomic use and benefits, as I was very lucky while I was filming to get this wonderful image, which still has me laughing to this day. So both marine protected areas provide an excellent opportunity to experience marine biodiversity. I can attest to that myself. Kayaking, paddleboarding, surfing, swimming, snorkeling, and scuba diving, all extremely popular. This is an image, the lower one here, of a guided kayak tour, which is very popular. I have also done paddleboarding here, and it's a really cool way to see the caves. The natural beauty of the area results in a lot of tourism. So La Jolla is famed for this tourism, and as a result, a lot of the restaurants around the area get lots of benefits. Tour groups, right, like this kayak tour here. Hotels get a lot of extra income, and then the fisheries, right, because this is an extremely biodiverse region. A lot of fish species use it as a sort of breeding ground. So obviously they're not allowed in the marine protected area, or at least not significant fishery amounts. But right, you can think outside of these. It does promote a lot of migration for fish, so very beneficial for fisheries. And then again, I want to touch on the regulations. So effective on July 1st of 2024, both the San Diego Scripps and Matlahuahil zones were protected under new legislation as marine protected areas. So the California Code of Regulations, Title 14, Section 632B, made it unlawful to injure, damage, take, or possess any living, geological, or cultural marine resource. Also making it unlawful to injure, damage, take, or possess. Is a bit of a typo there, double upped. Small exceptions there were for scientific research or for restoration/monitoring purposes. So I actually want to touch on something personal for me. With the project I actually work on with a professor at our campus, Dr. Reed, I do take samples of the marine seawater here for these coccolithophores, which are a species of phytoplankton. So, right, we are allowed to extract for that purpose, but, larger, there's significant regulation even for that. I don't quite know the hoops she had to jump through, but I'm sure it's more straightforward than trying to poach or extract any larger organisms. And then to end, I just wanted to show my references here. So thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and please let me know if there's any questions, if anything else I can provide. Thank you so much.